Nice one, Amy. OK, let's find out what's making news. Scott, what is making news?
Well, on the front page of The Sun, they're quite angry that the interest rate's gone down
the
from
bankers,
4.5 to 3, like you said.
Yeah.
And the bankers are being greedy by not passing that on to their clients. Well, two banks have, apparently. They are Lloyd's and Abbey.
Yeah.
But the others haven't. And so The Sun is saying, you know, the Prime Minister
galling
is
for
saying
Northern Rock, who get, what, 100 billion of our money and have really high mortgage rates.
Well, 37 billion in taxpayers' cash has been handed to banks.
That's
to
the
fend off
others,
credit
the other
crisis,
lot, yeah.
So that's why they're saying these people should get this break.
Yeah, we were talking earlier, and I was quite surprised that your thoughts in America were that they should have let the banks there or the mortgage companies go under.
Well, it weeds out the herd. I mean, some banks were selfish and were badly run, and they should be closed. You know, I don't see the point in
even though the
some of them.
consequences would be people out of their homes.
Well,
and,
I think
and
that
perhaps knock-on effects elsewhere in the economy, job losses and stuff.
I think
like
homeowner loans and stuff could have been handled independently and individually, but to save the banks, I hate the idea of these CEOs getting their payouts again. You know.
You, me, Carol, David. I think everybody.
It doesn't really
everybody.
affect me. I'm a gay man with a disposable income, right? So to me, it's like.
Oh, as long as you're okay.
Whatever. Yeah, I'm fine. But I do worry about people with their little 2.2.
That's big of you.
I know.
Thanks,
I worry
Scott.
about people and their kids because I don't want them to become a tax burden for me. So. No, but, you know, I just think maybe this is a good thing, these crises, you know, because they tell us that we've been a bit too selfish.
Yes.
And we should try to maybe spend a bit less, you know.
Well said.
A little
OK.
bit.
Anything else?
No, well, in the mail,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about that. There's apparently a drug crisis in the UK with 15 to 16-year-olds using too much cocaine, that this is the cocaine
Where do you get the
capital.
money from?
I don't know. But when I was a kid, I did a lot of coke. But my friends had their parents' credit cards. But that's what kids do is cocaine. For one thing, it's slimming.
Well, you have to say at this point, of course, that Scott is not advocating the use of illicit drugs because that would be
really
bad.
bad because
but they used to call it the champagne
why,
drug. Where does a 15-year-old... When I was 15, I was struggling to get the money for cigarettes. You know, I had to starve myself out of my school lunch money.
I don't know. Our parents just gave us credit cards. I don't know. I guess they wanted us to stay away from them.
It's not happening over here, though.
No, I don't. It doesn't say how the kids buy the drugs. It just says that in Europe, the UK is the highest user among 15 to 16-year-olds of cocaine.
Okay.
So it's the cocaine capital, I guess. And then apparently the Daily Mirror is concerned because these DVDs have been produced at the cost of £15,000 to the taxpayer to teach adults how to cross the street properly. In this one area in Ashford, Kent, residents are being handed a DVD to teach them, you know, what might seem like obvious, you know, tactics to use to not be hit by a car. But the locals are furious because
They have to help. They do have to help a lot of you Americans, don't they? Because even though you have these very simple red man, green man, you still have jaywalking as a criminal offence.
Yeah, it is in Los Angeles. Yeah, you get a ticket for it. But I mean, I think that people.
So maybe we do need help over here.
Well, I think people they get busy and they forget, and they've got a lot of things going on, and they cross the street, and bam, they get by a car.
Get to look left.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's we're weeding out the herd again. I don't know. Maybe some people should be hit by a car. I don't know. Maybe they need to be taught a lesson.
I love the way he's toning it down for your programme. Fabulous.
Especially if they're straight with mortgages, by the sounds of it, yes.
No, I was hit by a car when I was out running once, and I got $89,000 for it.
Shut
Ironically, I bought a new car with the money I got. So there you go. It wasn't such a bad thing. And I was probably asking for it, too. I probably Okay. And then there was a thing in the Daily Mail about why do we hate certain phrases that just have become too much, people using them too often, when one word would do. Things like, at the end of the day, when all you really need to say is just, you know, finally.
Yeah.
And people there's a book out, the Oxford... a new Oxford Dictionary looks for these terms, these phrases that people use and try to define them. And I think people are a bit overwhelmed by the amount of unnecessary phrases being used in the English language. So there's an article in the Daily Mail about it. The one I hate the most is make no mistake, though. That's the one I don't like. Because that's a Bushism. That came about with him. And every time I watch George Bush talk, I think, where is a sniper pointing at a presidential limo in Dallas when you need one, you know?
I know. It's we still, every time he comes on the thing here, there's people around me all laughing, and it's because even after 8 years, we still find it a funny joke.
I know. Why is he still around?
Not for much longer, mate. Not for much longer. Carol, what have you got, press?
OK, I've Telegraph. You know, it's, you know, we talk about you know, the academic standards in schools being dumbed down. Now we've heard that students are now going to be asked to read a train timetable as part of their A-level examination, and more importantly, they're also going to be asked to study bus passes.
Oh, shut up.
I'm telling you, this is unbelievable. You know, this government, education, they're going to learn timetable reading in the A-levels. And this is because this is this teacher called Bernice McCabe who's giving a speech about it. And she's saying basically that, you know, people want kids to be au fait with
Basically,
real
that's
life.
on the list, by the way, of prescribed words. Basically, you can't say basically anymore.
Oh, sorry, okay.
Okay.
Sometimes when you're trying to think of what you're going to say, you
Essentially,
need that little space.
fundamentally,
Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, you can't say that. That's banned as well.
I mean, Poppy's dropped off again.
This is
all
a constant
week.
problem for you, Carol.
It's all
Yeah.
week. I found yesterday's under the desk. Anyway, and
Finally?
I think you can, yeah.
hang on, this is an important story here. And they're saying that because schools are now saying they want pupils to learn real life skills as opposed to learning, you know, about literature, say. This is in the literature course.
But this is A-level
timetable
as
reading
well.
is in the literature course.
I mean,
this is AS level.
Rather
It's
alarming
astonishing.
is that you're not expected to be able to read a timetable until you've taken your A-levels.
I do have to tell you, I know a bit about Shakespeare, but I cannot read a timetable. You know when you go into a bus and you see the thing pinned up on the post? I can't do it. I can't work it out. But anyway, but that should be a whole different test. It shouldn't be an A-level. This is the Sun. This makes me so cross. Poppies. This is about poppies. 3 elderly people who were selling poppies in a shopping centre, in the Eden Centre in High Wycombe in Box. You know what? This is a tough job anyway. It's cold. It's horrible. You know, you're making people buy stuff. These, you know, there's big burly security guards you see in shopping centres chucked these 3 old people out onto the street and said they weren't allowed to sell poppies because they thought they didn't have a proper licence. Now, every poppy day, the poppy period is 14 days. You can sell poppies for 14 days. And these security guards were saying you're not allowed to. You're not allowing other charities to sell. Well, other charities have 50 weeks a year to sell.
Good point.
But you know what? The people who give up that time, you know, these old guys, men and women, can remember what happened, you know, 50 years ago. You know, these yobs that try to throw them out have no idea, and it really makes me cross. Anyway.
Malls do get crowded, though.
You just
Well,
stop
they
that.
do, and people
Listen,
get in the way.
You can make jokes about all sorts of things, but not poppies.
I'm making a joke.
Right. Now, Daily Mail. ID cards. You know how none of us wanted ID cards?
Yeah.
At all. And
Actually, initially, most people in Britain, according to surveys, did want ID cards. And I was here saying you're mad, it's a civil erosion of your civil liberties, but I think the tide is turning.
the tide is turning, and it's especially going to turn because now the price of them has doubled from £30 to £60.
Chuck in the passport as well, it's £160.
Chuck in the passport,
isn't
which
it?
is going to be £100 as well.
Is there a photo with those ID cards?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
worried
yeah,
about.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
who's taking the picture and how's it lit?
And what's
I want an over-the-shoulder shot like this. Can I get that?
No.
With a fur collar?
It's not the photo that's the issue, Scott.
Oh,
It's
really?
everything else that's on there, yeah.
And this is. We had a story earlier in the week about post offices being asked to
fingerprint it, wasn't it? Yeah.
for this. So that's for that. Okay.
Okay.
I can tell you're bored with that one.
Nice one. And
Do you-
what have you got for us, David?